just get the confirmation from our colleague here, but I think it looks like we're live, right, Andrew? Yes. Okay, good. We're live. So yeah, we got the confirmation. We're good to go. So hello, everyone. Very happy for everyone that was able to join us, and happy belated New Year. Time passes quickly. It's already the end of the month of January, but happy belated New Year. Anyway, we are particularly excited and really grateful for the new year for a fairly simple reason, which is we get to keep doing what we love. We get to keep building games and working with fantastic partner studios to build elite software solutions for them that's going to move this next wave of adoption for Web3 gaming and blockchain as a whole forward. So I'm excited for the new year and excited to talk to everyone about it today. Unsurprisingly, at the start of the new year, had a big company huddle on a lot of the stuff we're looking forward to pushing out this year on all aspects of what Myria does, and we're very happy to share a lot of that on how we've decided to deploy and hit the ground running for this new year with you. So one of the reasons I have our CTO and co-founder Andrew with us here today, besides the fact that he's just always fun to talk to, is that of course, as you would have seen on the post about this AMA, we want to focus especially on the Myria Studios side of things today. We talk a lot about the software we build to help Myria Studios and our partners, but we want to especially focus on Myria Studios today. And Myria Studios has been killing it and really delivering quite well. And putting together some really immersive gaming experiences at every step of the journey. So that's why we want to give you a little bit of information on that. And it's also I talk about this a lot, but it's been integral to the other side of our approach. That's the approach we take to making sure our blockchain software is battle tested. Our overall development kit is battle tested. And that's to build these our own AAA games firsthand, so we can fully understand and fulfill the demands of high scale, high quality gaming titles. So, seeing as Andrew has very impressively led our game technology and engineering overall since Myria's earliest days, I reckon there is not a single better person on the planet to come in and talk about all this with me today. So welcome, Andrew.
Hey, thanks, Brendan, and I appreciate the neat little intro there. Nice folksy usage of the word reckon. And yeah, Happy New Year to everybody, all the listeners out there. And of course, we have the Lunar New Year coming up, so that's kind of exciting, especially over here in the East. So yeah, welcome.
Awesome. So as I said, we have some exciting stuff planned for 2024. So you want to kick us off, Andrew, by just telling me more about Myria Studios in general?
Yeah. So Myria Studios it's one of the two key pillars of the studio. The other side being the technology, the SDK and the platforms. But it's from the beginning, we wanted to really participate in Web3 in a very meaningful way. So the early games were really focused on finance only, at the expense of fun and the game and things. I mean, Axie showed us that play to earn, that there was had legs in some way, or at least that there was a model there. But at the same time, it gave rise to FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and skepticism, because it was such kind of this kind of pennies from heaven. It was inflationary, and it had just seemed like it could just crank money out of this machine randomly, and so it had no grounding in reality. And that's something that we really wanted at Myria Studios to avoid. So that's really informed a lot of our game design decisions. Fun first, and then we don't want Ponzonomics kind of a structure. So yeah, so from the beginning, our focus was fun and technology, and then tertiarily economics. But again, we want it to be a meaningful economy. So our main pillars were, free to play. This is super important because, if you remember, like I said, I don't mean to string up Axie, but you had to spend hundreds of dollars before you could even get into one match, right? So we want free to play, we want AAA quality, and people toss that that term around, but we really are aiming for it. Multi-platform, of course, and and these are things which some of you are familiar with me. I've worked in some big studios, EA and Sony and Ubisoft, and it takes years. I mean, it takes years and millions of dollars, but we're committed to fun. I mean, we're a games company as much as we are a blockchain company or any other kind of company. So, Myria Studios, yeah. So Metarush. Metarush is for those of you who don't know, it's a multiplayer sort of a survival race battle royale through this surreal kind of multiverse landscape. And we owe, from the vision perspective of that, we owe a lot of that to our illustrious art director, Quentin Gabriel, who he worked on things like Assassin's Creed Mirage and Tom Clancy's Division and Rayman and Spider-Man. So he's got real chops. Anyway, so Metarush, the goal is to survive and to use the power-ups and to really pwn the other players. And if I might say pwn, that term might be dangerous. Pwn. Do people still say that? Anyway, and get to the finish line. Again, for our game design, then we also have our creative wizard, Ivan Fortunov, who worked at Gameloft and Crazy Labs and Ubisoft, also Green Panda. And he's a whiz at lore, designing the lore and the game economy. And then, we've been focused. That game has kind of been the flagship, and we've been really focused on that in Myria Studios. But as you said, besides the fun, we also want to sort of drink our own wine or eat our own dog food, although I like the wine analogy better in terms of using our tooling and our SDKs and our platform so that our partners really do have a good experience in terms of, from the user's perspective, in integrating SDKs and, debugging issues and things like that. I'm real happy to be here and, create. It's great to connect with the community and, give everybody a taste of what's coming.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of cool stuff there. Very cool that Myria Studios has such ambitious goals and has made such awesome strides so far. And obviously we're on the same page about the pillars and the fun first and having an optimized game economy and all that. But we also I'll pose the question for our community, which I'm sure they're still asking. It's free to play. It's all of that, but can players still expect game rewards in any way?
Totally. So the focus really is this sort of bi-directional redistribution of value. And what do I mean that the two prongs really are? So on the one hand, we have ownership, so the economic incentives for people to really own their in-game assets, and all of the concomitant transactions and things like that goes on with it. But then also the other direction, reward. So value being generated through our very carefully crafted reward system. And again, this is one of Ivan's strengths is really very carefully balancing some of that those economy dials. And we've really we've spent many a late night sort of thinking through how to avoid the, on the one hand, the pay to win kind of a thing, and also avoid, inflationary dynamics and all the grinding, and all of the things that have really been kind of an albatross, for Web3 gaming. So, yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so what you're saying in short, Andrew, is that there's a lot of stuff that has been done that the community hasn't seen yet. So that's always very exciting, and I'm sure they'll be looking forward to it. But can you tell us one thing? I mean, there's so much that you've said already, and so maybe this question will be a bit challenging for you. But could you tell us one thing that most excites you about what's happening with Metarush?
Sure. I guess rather than so of course our original plan was to just make this great multi-stage obstacle runner, and we thought that was going to be our path, but it's just been the thing that's been so exciting about it for me has just been that the team has been this very symbiotic sort of microcosm, both inward focused, within the team, and also with the community. And I mean, we really do get ideas sort of from everywhere. The art and the dev and the the testing. I mean, QA has been so. Shout out to Zarwan for giving us ideas and things like that. Just hey, this would be great. I mean, it really is a very ideal kind of development environment when you think about it, because everybody's ideas are just brought together. So, I mean, like Quentin, when he joined and he had this unhinged vision of what it was going to look like, and just I mean, he was talking about these crazy. I can't imagine where he gets his inspiration. I'm sure it's not legal. No, I mean, this, and he had a huge amount of concept art, and I mean, it really, sort of that fed into the lore that was being designed by Yvonne, and then, Yvonne would riff on that and feed that back to Quentin, and I mean, it's just a great dynamic. I mean, the thing that makes me more excited about it than any one specific little piece, really has been the team dynamic and the generating of the sum being much more than the whole being much more than some of the parts.
Yeah. That and you answered a question that had popped up in my head at the beginning of your riff there. But it's sort of a two-way street is what's happening there, is what you said, right? So ideas are also coming back to the art team, drawing inspiration from the Myriaverse lore and sort of setting of the game as well. It's I imagine it's a kind of two-way street of ideas, as I said.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's been weird where people's ideas have come from. I mean, sometimes it's games. People we have channels, in our Slack where people will just post any weird thing that they see.
Yeah.
Like it might be just a picture of a fire hydrant or something, or a piece of toast. Yeah, I mean, and so anything that will spark people's creativity is fair play, is fair game, and. Yeah, and then also the community. I mean, we get a lot of emails, and, a lot of chat in Discord, Telegram, and everywhere. Yeah, and so it's just been it's just been really inspirational.
Yeah, awesome. Going back to something you said a couple phrases ago, you mentioned I think other battle modes outside of the racing, the core racing format. Could you care to expound on that a bit?
Yeah, so it came early on. It came very clear to us that the game is set in space, right? So we have a huge amount of real estate, and you community members out there who were in the closed alpha certainly got a taste of that, because the game is really not just this A to B, point to point kind of a thing. At least it's not linear. I mean, there's a lot of twists and turns and pathways. I mean, you could probably spend months trying to work out the optimal pathway. And so that really prompted us to come up with, wouldn't it be awesome if we had different types of survival modes, different types of player interactions based on just the weird topology of the world that was kind of unfolding organically as we built it. And so, yeah, I mean, we've been really working hard to bring in different sort of player to player interactions, punching and pushing and explosive, wedgies. Well, not wedgies. Sorry, we don't actually have the wedgies. Unless, maybe we can. I'll think about that. And explosive projectiles.
You just spawn an idea. You just spawn an idea right there.
I did.
Yeah.
The atomic wedgie.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. All right. All right. Okay. Yeah. So and the thing is that our team is super. I mean, they get psyched, and they'll just bang something out. They'll be like, hey, I had this great idea, and they'll just drop it in there and what do you think of this? So it's not like we have this super slow iterative process where somebody first writes a design document and then it gets validated through 20 levels of bureaucracy and gates and things like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a great environment, I think.
Yeah, except that I heard.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, except that I heard punching, pushing, and now wedgies as well. So maybe not the best game for team building, I would guess, but very cool. And obviously,
exactly.
Yeah, but obviously we've made a pretty huge stride from obstacle racer to now hand-to-hand combat and bombing people or wedging people off the map. It's pretty cool where we've taken this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I sort of like to think that we're sort of reimagining the genre of this type of a game. I mean, people just, especially in the communities, I mean, they love the smash and just the brutal power ups. I mean, we have some that are just over the top screwy, and like the first time you do it, you just kind of wet yourself because it's weird. But yeah, we really wanted to sort of crank it up to 12. I mean, I guess it's too cliche to crank it up to 11. That was kind of 2016, or actually maybe 4, because that's from Spinal Tap, right? So that's like 1983. Yes. Anyway, yeah, so we're cranking it now up to 12. So yeah, it's better to think of Metarush as like a combat sport almost.
Very cool. Very, very excited to get more of that. And then the next thing I wanted to briefly touch on is for those that missed the previous playtests, very cool playtest that we put on. Is there another train coming that they can get on?
Oh yeah, no, there's another train barreling down.
Nice, good.
It's going to be sometime in March. What's that?
I said sticking with the analogy. I appreciate it.
Oh yes, train barreling down.
Yeah, thanks.
Right. So it's going to be sometime in March, and so I encourage everybody to stay tuned in the channels and watch for the clues. And we're going to be having some contests coming up, so for people to earn spots for the playtest. So that's cool. And it's going to be much bigger than previous. So we're going to have the levels are going to be expanded. There's going to be more maps and a lot more chaos. I mean, it's some of the early views of it, were had a little bit more of the traditional running, but it's getting nuts. So yeah.
Absolutely. Good. I'm sure a lot of people have already seen what I'm going to talk about next, but we've already been running a lot of fun little contests on the Metarush X account, and there will be a lot more to come there. So as with all of this, stay tuned for that and the upcoming playtest. One of the other things that I really enjoyed seeing that I'd like to get some of your thoughts on as well, Andrew, was some of the behind the scenes content that we did with the team. That was really impactful, I think.
Oh yeah, no, those behind the scenes were cool. Like the last one was with Koa, who is our 3D artist, and he did that tour of how the shark character skin. I don't know if you all saw it, whatever. He showed us how the shark character skin was designed and rigged and animated and stuff in the 3D modeling program and stuff. And so a shark, yeah. So yeah. So I mean, I sort of spilled the beans a little bit, but yeah, like so. Even though it's a space thing, we have sharks jumping on asteroids and jellyfish heads and things in space. We have a lot of so that's just to sort of reinforce the fact that we have like a lot of backstory with a lot of lore across different biomes in the Myriaverse. So like I said, it's kind of surreal, but it's awesome. It's hilarious.
Yeah, the talking about backstories of characters there, it feels like you're dodging the obvious question, Andrew, which is when are we going to see the vlog of day in the life of Myria's chief technology officer? That's the question we all want to know.
Me.
Of course.
Well, gosh.
That's what we want. That's what the people are demanding.
I mean, okay, so yeah, a day in the life of me. Well, okay, so first of all, I mean, I think I'm gonna have to find a pair of pants. Okay, so that's challenge number 1. So I'm gonna actually make a note of that pants. Yeah, that might be a tricky one from I don't know if I have that kind of technology anymore, but we'll see. I know that we're going to have more days in the life. I can't guarantee yet it's going to be me, but yeah, I think we certainly will be having more of that. Plus,
more of that is
ideas. Yeah, bring them on.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. Cool. So I guess, well, this is an AMA. So we've talked about a lot of things in a pretty short period of time. So I think we're good now, Andrew. If you're up for it, unless you have any other ideas to sort of just throw in just the two of us, but I think we're cool to open the floor to some questions from the crowd.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Let's say bring it on. So see what questions we got.
Cool.
I love the crowd. Whee.
And
the favorite skin.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see. We have my favorite skin. I think right now it's the chef. We have this. I mean, it changes for me time, day to day, because when you play your own game, you kind of alternate around. But we have this sort of chef character with this big chef hat that's kind of and he's got the stuff. It's kind of cool. And yeah, I would say that is right now. But again, it does change a lot. So that's my current one.
And I would say, I'll throw mine in as well. I have a good connection to Halloween, and then my younger brother was born on the day of Halloween, so I would say the Halloween skin has to be mine now. But yeah, go ahead and address the elephant in the room if you'd like, Andrew.
So I mean, launch is certainly a. I mean, these things, especially because we're so involved with the community. So we're going to be having our open, our alpha, and then our open beta in May. And launch. I mean, again, launch is sort of a relative term. I mean, one of the things that is kind of cool about this whole space is just that it's ever evolving, and because the community is involved. So when is launch? It's almost as though launch is more of a state of mind. But yeah, I'm gonna say that the open beta will be in May.
Cool. What else do we have here? Playtest launch. Talked about the playtest, but is this the final playtest? Is this another playtest? That's an interesting. Maybe you can talk to how Metarush, maybe Andrew is already pretty well suited for sort of the whole gamut of ages. There's a question here: what games are being developed for younger players and for seniors? It's a neat question, I think.
I mean, senior, when you. So first of all, I don't think that there's a lower bound on the for the age, but seniors. Well, let's see. So my parents are in their 70s. I think they could probably get into it. I mean, I think that it would, it might be a bit of a challenge, but I mean, honestly, there is no, the games that we're building are highly accessible. I mean, I don't think that there's, it's not like, we're going to build dumbed down stuff for toddlers and then, games that have featuring music by Glenn Miller or something like that for the senior set. I mean, I think we sort of know
Sorry, is that your, just quickly?
Know who's going to be playing the game? So, what's that?
Is that your idea of how you would build a game specifically for seniors?
Sort of a Glenn Miller-based shooter. I don't know, a lot of muskets and things like that. I don't know what happened back then.
Yeah. I think that sounds right to me. Yeah. No, very cool. What else do you want to try to tackle here? Or do you want me to try to pick some lot of good stuff coming in?
Cross-platform, yes. Yeah. So Metarush is Mac and Windows, absolutely.
And then about specs, maybe that they'll need for this.
Yeah, I mean, so our team is always doing optimization, and so we'd like to always make it bring down the target. Also, we are one of the things that we've been focusing on is introducing the versions that people played earlier did not have the quality settings, which is something that we are introducing now. And so for people who have older graphics cards or lower end CPUs, then you'll just be able to dial down some of the effects.
That's cool.
I think that on the other hand, we are supporting more players in the game, which could pull it down. So how it balances out may depend on how many people are actually in your session and what the latency is like and things like that. But yeah, I mean, we haven't cranked up the requirements significantly or anything like that, if that's what you're asking. iOS and Android, interesting question. So the game is built in Unity, which does support iOS and Android. However, it is not yet on the it's not on yet on the official roadmap. I think a certain amount of that has to do with how Web3 unfolds in the mobile space. Sometimes the guidelines from Apple and Google are not clear, or sometimes they can be a little bit capricious. So launch is a state of I'll get to that in a second. So right now iOS and Android are not officially on the radar. Can I clarify what launches state of mind? All I meant by that, no, is that because we're so involved with, we're taking community, feedback and adding content based on community, and the fact that these days, so I'm going to date myself here. I was doing games back from when we were actually like burning CDs and cartridges and things like that. And so once the game was done, it was done. I mean, you shipped it, and if you screwed up, or if you want some, there were no patches or anything like that. Yeah. So now, I mean, and this is true not just for us. I mean, it really is for all games, modern games, and that is you can be downloading content, and there's events and seasonal things going on. So yeah, that's all I meant by launches is a state of mind. So it's
so the launch is coming, but don't expect it to be finished and burned onto a CD and never changing again. That's the point, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very cool. We missed a pretty good one before. I think I didn't see it anyway. Just the sort of plan for in-game NFTs and other skins that we can expect in the game. There's a lot coming there, right, Andrew?
Oh yeah. That's probably the channel in our Slack that is the most active right now, because there's just people have been having a huge amount of ideas. So it's there's a lot of, I mean, the number of ideas for skins and items, of different rarities is it's a source of constant debate, and it's cool. I mean, you'll see.
Cool. And then I saw one that, if you don't mind, Andrew, I can jump in and tackle. Where was it? Right. For Myria users less focused on the game, information regarding staking. So I can say that it's in the works. I'm not going to give a specific timeline, unfortunately, on staking still, but it's nose to the grindstone at the minute. And we're going to make it an excellent system with the ability to add the most possible value to our community before we push it out to you. So expect more on this very soon, and it's a good question. But we're working to make sure this works well for everyone. Cool. Well, the current. Current NFTs and their relevance for Metarush?
That's what NFTs, sigils, titles? That's still being debated. Honestly, if I had a final answer on that one, I would give it right now. But it will have utility, but I don't know yet. So next one was advice to aspiring game developers. There was a question from Airfield. It's a huge, broad question.
You're right. I bet you have if you have some ideas in your head for a book, Andrew. I'm imagining that this question might be one of them, though.
So I'm gonna sort of pose or ask a question. Is there any particular aspect, Airfield, which you would like me to speak to? I mean, in other words, developers, who are still in school, or people who are, in the industry
Mm.
already, or I mean, I'd love to talk about it. So if you want to just shoot me that, then we'll move on, and then when you come back, then let's see. So let's move on.
So he came
Working
back.
with Unity game logic servers. Advice to aspiring game developers about using game. Well, I would say, I mean, in general, I think that one of the keys to making a great game is the ability to have iteration in your tool chain. So, in other words, if you can do rapid iteration, and that means that you empower your designers and your developers, because everybody has their own sort of specialty. So, if you build in the right levers, so for example, let's say you introduce a gaming mechanic, some sort of platform or some sort of moving thing, the more that you can give them real-time feedback to tweak and test the game, ultimately the better it's going to be. If your pipeline, if your development process is where somebody says, "Oh, can you make that bomb 10% more powerful?" Then then you have to change a console code and then recompile, rebuild, rebundle it, and send it off. That iteration time is just going to be way too slow. So I would say that rapid iteration is something that you'd want to keep an eye on. And that speaks to the servers as well. I mean, in other words, if you have live, if your DevOps pipeline has things like live configuration, and then your parameters are such that you can tweak them on a web page and then pull them in real time from your game client. That's also another way to go. It's almost such a big topic that we could do a whole separate like series on that, but we'll talk about that later.
The first part is probably good, just general advice to aspiring developers. I mean, we have the tools and technology now to iterate quickly on things, and it's you're definitely going to be better off if you're not doing sort of monthly or quarterly check-ins with key stakeholders, but you're getting feedback on things with some regularity in an organized way. But no, I think that's I'm not a game developer, but I can say that if you're an aspiring game developer out there, or aspiring developer in other fields, blockchain developer, for example, I think that's good advice generally. Someone's understanding is that the timeline is playtest to open beta. Is this correct? That is correct. Yes, Andrew.
Timeline is playtest to open beta. Is this correct? It's alpha and then open beta. I'm sorry, I might have misspoken. I'm not firing on enough coffee just yet. But yes, alpha, playtest, alpha, and then open beta.
Cool. And that's a good one. Marketing plans for Metarush. I mean, we're the technologists here, so it's not always, but you know everything that's going on, Andrew. Any words you want to say there?
Everything. Well, that's overstating it slightly. I mean, I am more of a tech nerd, to be honest, than a marketing guy. So, no big spoilers for marketing. I mean, we're those guys. To be honest, even though code can get very complicated, I have no idea what goes on in the minds of the marketing people, like how they arrive at their conclusions. And so I don't want to speak out of turn. But I certainly will let the team know that you're interested in that, and then we'll have them, address that in in Discord or in Telegram. I can't speak to it. I wish I could.
Oh, there we go, Andrew. This might be your this might be your favorite question.
Yes. Which one?
Someone is in your neck of the woods and wants a beer.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Shoot me a message. Yeah. I live over in like the Antung, like sort of the Antung Muhang Sun area. I don't know if you know where that is. I don't know where you're at, but if you're in Da Nang, then yeah, totally. Look me up.
Very nice. Hard to deny a good beer. Let's see. Is the play limited number of users on the playtest, Andrew, or can anyone even without knowledge of Myria join in? Can a friend get invited with no crypto knowledge to give it a go?
With no crypto knowledge?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to need any crypto knowledge. Let me think. You know what? I'm gonna circle back to that because I don't remember if they put a cap on the number of users. So I'm gonna have to. I can see if I can get that answer before we finish off. Let me see.
Well, while you're looking for that, somebody else has suggested, Andrew, that you bring a security detail with you to any meetups. Which
is that a veiled threat?
No, I don't think this individual knows. I don't think this member knows anything about what this meetup will entail. But yeah, thank you. That's no, but the second point is true, which Andrew is too important to the development of Myria now. He's definitely very, very critical to what has gone on here. So security will always be viewed in high regard by us founders. We take that seriously. Yeah.
Here's one for you.
Right. Is there any thoughts for an integrated DEX at Myria's looking at something for exchanging tokens of the ecosystem games? There have been thoughts about it, but again, I know this is the answer that nobody wants in general. But yeah, there have been thoughts. It's something that we would like to get done at some point, and it's technically feasible, but it's like all these product decisions that we have to make. It's a priority thing. We have a lot of stuff that our clients are directly asking for, so that we can our partners, I should say. That are building with our software, and so we sort of put those in the highest level of priority box, because yeah, we want them to produce the highest quality games that they can. And typically, a DEX isn't in their list of immediate demands, but it's important, and so we have talked about it, but it's a timeline thing there. So yeah, again, no spoilers on that one, but it's something we've definitely heard feedback about. Cool. Any finds on numbers there, Andrew?
So I mean, it's 20 players to a map, but to a per gameplay session. But how many sessions is still TBD. But I'm told, I'm being whispered in my ear that we will be announcing it soon. So no final number there.
Okay, maybe just a couple more here. I think the pace of the questions coming in is maybe starting to taper off a bit, Andrew. So maybe just a minute or two more. But will players need to have a Myria account, or will they just be able to jump in and just play?
For this one, you will need to register. Actually, I'm sorry. For alpha, you won't need an account. But ultimately, then obviously, since it's a game where you can have rewards and things like that, we need to know where to find you. But yeah, so you'll need to register and or connect your wallet. But for the alpha, you won't need it.
Cool. I'm just scrolling up a little bit, Andrew, to see if there weren't, because there was a good pace at.
the answer to the question of whether players need to download client software or is it browser based, it's download a client. So so far the web, WebGL and the performance on that is not where we'd like. And this is a game where we certainly would like to be able to provide a really engaging visual experience. And so we're not planning a web GL, like a browser-based version for now. You will have to install it.
Very cool. What did we miss here? I thought there was one I had in the back of my mind as one that I would have wanted to get to. Would it be a focus on making? You've answered that one, Andrew. Do you just want to reiterate what you said there for new joiners?
Okay. Well, there's a couple of.
The L2. I just got a new one right now. L2 to L2 transactions. Can you just clarify that question? That's an interesting one. Can you clarify? Is that L2 to another L2 without having to go back through the L1, go back through Ethereum, or is that something else there? That can mean a couple things. But happy to field it if I get a clarification there.
Asking about Android and iOS. So short term, no, but in the future, possible. But again, we're waiting on. It's the policies of the Android store and the Apple App Store vis-a-vis Web3 are sometimes not always the most transparent, and so we're focusing on native versions for now.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, I think that was was there some great questions, and maybe we'll give it 10 more seconds, but I think that was I think we covered a lot there. Thanks a lot as always for jumping on and chatting with me, Andrew. And don't forget your security detail, but enjoy your beer if you make it happen. And
all right, Tony. Yeah. What's my coffee of choice?
There you go. That's a good one.
So since I'm here in Vietnam, and so they have a few different the Vietnamese make great, among the best coffee in the world. And so they have some specialties here. They have the salt coffee, the egg coffee, and they definitely do their own thing. So I've been definitely indulging in the local Vietnamese fare.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Cool. So I did promise that if that question was clarified before we logged off, I'd answer it. So that's what I expected it was, using L2 without the need to go back to L1. Send Myria tokens. Okay, so sorry, just staying within our L2 though. So staying on the Myria L2. Yes, absolutely. We will support this. The tech is already there 100%. It's just not I suppose exposed sort of to the end user. But it's there and supported technologically and everything else. So that's no problem. And I like that question much better than how do we move to some other L2? I'd say I don't know, but no. In general, bridges. If that were the question, I can answer that too. Because in general, bridges we would always prefer if you needed to go interact with some other L2 that you would go through Ethereum. It's in general a safe approach. But no, L2 to L2 transactions will be coming, and it's something we can handle. Cool. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining and for participating. It was really a great selection of questions there at the end, and until we talk very soon, everyone. And thanks again, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, yeah, it's a great time and great questions, and yeah, just real excited to have everybody jumping in there. So yeah, rock on.
Awesome.
Let's get
Awesome.
to the
Awesome.
moon.
Awesome. Keep building. Let's keep building. All right. Talk soon. Bye.